Defense Updates has reached 200,000 subscribers. We cannot thank you enough. We promise to keep delivering interesting content. Follow us on social media. Support us on Patreon. All links in description below. Russia has said it launched a hypersonic missile described by Vladimir Putin as an ideal weapon when he unveiled new armaments earlier this month. The Kinzhal, or Dagger, was one of the weapons the Russian president unveiled in his State of the Nation address earlier this month, ahead of a presidential election on the 18th of March that he is all but guaranteed to win. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes Russia's newest hypersonic missile, Kinzhal. Let's get started.
Number 5.
The Defense Ministry said the Kinzhal missile was launched from a MiG-31 aircraft that took off from an airfield in southwestern Russia. As per it, the launch went according to plan. The hypersonic missile hit its target. It released footage of two pilots preparing for a flight and then running towards a jet carrying a large missile. Set to rousing patriotic music, the video showed a missile detaching from the airborne plane and gliding across the sky, leaving a fiery trail. The first Kinzhal test comes several months after the BrahMos-A air-launched variant supersonic missile test on November 22, 2017 by India. The missile project was completed by India with close cooperation from Russia. The reported performance of the BrahMos was a top speed of Mach 3 and a range of 290 kilometers. The deadly missile was launched from a modified Sukhoi Su-30 MKI.
Number 4.
Kinzhal reportedly has a range of approximately 1,250 miles, or 2,000 kilometers, and a top speed of more than 10 times the speed of sound. According to the Russian president, units in the country's southern military district, which borders Ukraine and the Black Sea, have deployed the missiles operationally. Russia had previously claimed it was working on a hypersonic anti-ship missile called Zircon, and computer-generated graphics during Putin's speech showed Kinzhal attacking surface warships, though it also reportedly has a land-air attack capability. It's unclear how the two weapons might be related, if at all, but Kinzhal could simply be an air-launched derivative of the sea-launched Zircon. In general, these types of weapons typically use a rocket motor to kickstart an air-breathing engine of some kind to push them to at least Mach 6, making them harder for existing land- and space-based sensors to spot. Unlike ramjet engine, which powers BrahMos, Kinzhal is expected to have a scramjet engine. Both ramjet and scramjet are engines with no moving parts, rely on the enormous pressures created by airflow into the engine to ignite fuel without needing the compressors and turbines used in the turbofan engines found on conventional jet planes. The scramjet is an innovation on the ramjet in which the combustion chamber is specially designed to operate with supersonic airflow. Scramjet is simply an acronym for Supersonic Combustion Ramjet. The missile is also reported to be nuclear capable and able to hit ground as well as naval targets.
Number 3.
Dmitry Rogozin, the deputy prime minister, said on Facebook that work has been carried out to modernize the unique MiG-31 that will carry the missile. Since the start of the year, more than 250 sorties have been carried out by the aircraft to perfect the missile system, the Defense Ministry said. The reported 1,860-mile or 3,000-kilometer unrefueled range of the MiG-31 long-range supersonic interceptor gives the Kinzhal potentially intercontinental strike capability. The choice of the aging MiG-31 that would probably launch the Kinzhal from plus 60,000 feet at supersonic speed is aimed at giving the missile much more reach than it would have if launched from the ground. As per some unconfirmed reports, by the end of 2018, Russian Air Force will form an aviation squadron with 10 to 12 MiG-31 BMs, especially modified for carrying the Dagger hypersonic missile in one of its fighter regiments. For now, 6 MiG-31 BMs are known to have been modified to carry the missile.
Number 2.
Total U.S. military expenditure is over one-third of world military expenditure, and it's more than 10 times that of Russia's spendings. Russia cannot possibly compete with the U.S. platform by platform, weapon by weapon. For example, U.S. has more than 10 aircraft carriers, whereas Russia has only one. That too is in very bad shape. In this situation, Russia is developing asymmetric weapons to counter the US. Kinzhal is part of that effort. Probably capable of making rapid course corrections and otherwise flying erratically, the weapon's speed could make it very difficult for existing surface and airborne radars to track in order to cue an interceptor or other close-in defense system. Kinzhal armed with conventional warhead could potentially be used to take out multi-billion-dollar aircraft carriers or destroyers. When armed with nuclear warhead, it can theoretically decimate a US carrier strike group.
Number 1.
The U.S. Defense Secretary, James Mattis, said that nothing Putin showed off changed anything from the Pentagon's perspective as he spoke to reporters as he traveled to Oman. I saw no change in the Russian military capability, and each of these systems that he's talking about that are still in years away, I do not see them changing the military balance. They do not impact any need on our side for a change in our deterrence posture. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.